I'm gonna try here. Oh, we're on. We're on. Nick's back.
Hi.
He's pretending it's a different day. He's doing the Logan Muser.
Yep.
So, oh yeah, that's Mr. Muser, YouTube user who's in someone's sex dungeon now.
Someone. We're not going to disclose whose. But we're here to do a review. We're continuing our review of the Army of Darkness Omnibus from Dynamite, correct?
Dynamites.
Yeah. We talked about the initial
movie adaptation.
The movie adaptation. And we have a video about that as well. It's probably somewhere on the screen.
You should, or it'd probably be in the description. I'm kind of fucking lazy.
It's in the description. There's a link.
Yeah.
So we're going straight in with the first story, Ashes to Ashes.
One of the better stories. This is considered by a lot of people to be one of the better.
I would be one of those people who agrees.
So Nick, what is the synopsis to Ashes to Ashes?
Very important thing about this is that it follows the ending that is used in most cuts of the movies.
Yeah, the Hail to the King ending.
Yes. So, are you... No spoiler? Spoiler alert?
Yeah, well, they would have seen the movie if they're watching this.
That's true. You're
Bastion?
right. So, if you don't like the spoiler, well, sucks for you. So, at the end of Army of Darkness, he drinks the potion that the old man made for him, and he messes up, I believe, like... Did he mess up the words again?
No, that's in the I slept too long ending.
You're right. I'm mixing up my endings.
He gets everything. He goes back to the future.
That's right.
Time correctly.
Back to S-Mart.
Back to S-Mart.
Fights a Deadite.
And then he gets
hailed.
He gets hailed.
Yeah.
And so Wizard.
Yeah, I'm guessing this takes place like maybe a minute after the end of that movie.
Yeah.
So he's back working at S-Mart, and he just sees the old man from 1300 AD. He's just like looking at crap, and he's just like, "What are you doing here, man? What are you doing here?" And he begins to explain how he messed up and like sent Ash back a little bit like too early, like a few hours.
Yeah.
Probably somewhere in that region of time. And it has messed everything up, Deadite City all over the place. So this is now coinciding with the timeline of Evil Dead 2. So the events of that movie in the cabin is going on at the same time. And they have to go to the cabin and get the Necronomicon and try to fix this crap. So they take off and they get on one of those little motorcycles with the cab. And he's wearing this like stupid leather cap.
They got the fighter bomber look going on. It's wonderful.
Yeah, and they ride up, and just like in the movie, the bridge is all torn up, so they realize, oh crap, we might be like pretty short on time here. And they take a way around and get to the cabin.
They hike.
Yeah, they go on foot and hike, and they encounter Ash as he's in his like complete delirium after.
I have to interrupt you.
Oh, go for it.
Cat.
Yes,
Cat. He's not feeling me up.
Wow. As far as you know. There is a cat.
We may have a secret life. You don't have to know. Going
back to the comic.
His better half doesn't have to know.
Jeez, she'd be pissed. So they find Ash, and this is like the part of the movie after the house was torturing him. The deer head just shaking and all that kind of stuff. And so he sees himself and the old man and immediately thinks, more Deadite tricks, and attacks his future version of himself, which I thought was really cool. They're going chainsaw against chainsaw, and the future Ash is like pissed off. He's like, "No, you idiot, don't fight me." And without even really like trying to explain what they're doing, they pull out the spell to send him back in time. And I thought it was funny because the old Ash is like, "No, I don't want to go," and they're like, "You have to," and kick him, and he goes into the vortex. And from there, they're like, "All right, we fix it." And Ash closes the book, and it shows a very hellish future of what's going to happen with all the Deadites, and they're like enslaving all the babes. And he's like, "No, this is terrible. Get me out of this." And they realize that they didn't fix it. They still need to do something. So the old man offers to go all the way over to like the Middle East to go to where the Necronomicon was created and destroy it, Lord of the Rings style, in its own place of making.
Well, we need to talk about where it was made, because in Evil Dead 2, it was made in like medieval Europe. In this, it's like it was made in
like
Egypt.
Somewhere where there's lots of sand.
So because I guess they wanted mummy deadites.
They had to get the mummy effect.
It was pretty hilarious. Bastion.
Yeah, so they travel by plane, and there was a really good homage to a Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
The Twilight Zone episode where Ash sees something on the wing, and he begins to freak out, and not long after that, we realize the plane is being hijacked by deadites, and the old man actually takes the boomstick and shoots both of the pilots, and he's like, "Oh yeah, got him!" And then they crash, and they crash in the middle of like a swamp or something.
It was bizarre. I didn't.
Yeah, there were all of these animals, and the area around them was possessed, and they kept attacking them. And I believe there's one point where Ash punches an owl in the face, and I thought that was pretty cool.
PETA Book of the Year.
Yeah, exactly. They travel by foot once again to this like Egyptian palace, and they go and like. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on a moment in the comic.
Well, they go to this palace and he fights Bad Ash. Yes.
Well, didn't the old man get?
He bites it. But
Yeah, he bites it in the middle of it.
It just. And it's like an Obi-Wan Kenobi ending, and they
Yeah.
kind of reference Star Wars.
Yeah, they did.
It was goofy,
Yeah.
but
Before you get to Bad Ash, there's a segment where Ash is by himself and he's like trying to figure out some kind of puzzle that has all of these weird sigils on all the walls. And he sees one that kind of has an opening, and he pushes it, and it's like intergalactic space, and there's all these little green space ashes flying around, and one of them starts to like try and get in his ear and punching him in the face, and it's just like so out of place. It's like the one bad thing about this comic. It's just like, why was that even there?
it was like when the little ashes were running around in the movie.
Yeah, it was just like, what is happening? At least that was good.
But we'll get to so all hell breaks loose.
Oh yeah, because Ash sees a very Necronomicon-sized box, and he's like, "Oh, I'll just put it here and see what happens." And he initially is like, "Yes, I figured out the puzzle," and then everything turns red, and undead just begin to raise everywhere, and he's like, "I ruined everything." And Bad Ash, for some reason, is here and wearing an Egyptian outfit, including a headdress, and quickly begins to like recruit all of the undead around him and be like, "Hey, we're gonna go kill everybody in the world." And he makes a couple of those really good like puns about skeletons being made of bones, and like I think he breaks one, and I just love that kind of humor. It's so stupid.
But just to save the day, Past Ash
Oh yeah.
comes back with all the knights.
Yes, past Ash zooms in from a time portal out of nowhere
And this is a good-
saves Ash from imminent death from all of the undead.
Okay, here we go. We have to talk about a situation in this comic. A morphing scene.
Oh yes. So you now have Ash from medieval times, which I don't think it's ever explained why he knew to teleport in that at that time with all the people.
It doesn't have to.
Yeah, I guess because it doesn't need it.
But via the thing,
It's kind of hard to see because it's pressed up in the middle.
well, we'll cut away.
Yeah.
I'll fix it in
They,
editing.
after talking to each other for a very short time, they just fused together in this very painful looking panel, and it threw me off because if they're gonna like worry about like problems with time travel, like they don't worry about it at all in the rest of the series. Why do they need to worry about it then and need to do a fusion, which in most things with time travel doesn't make any sense. Usually seeing yourself, even looking at yourself and from a different time, will cause a huge paradox and just mess everything up.
But you see, this is Army of Darkness. They don't give a shit.
They don't give a shit at all. So they morph together, which, why didn't that happen when they were fighting each other?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's Army of Darkness.
It's Army of Darkness. But it was pretty cool. So they kill all of the Deadites, which, I don't know, wasn't that hard for them. Shotgun, sword, that kind of thing. And
Why are you licking my leg?
he's a good cat. They like set everything straight. Old man gives Ash like the instructions on how to not mess everything up this time. Oh, they open up a time vortex and he's like, "All right, we're all gonna go through it. You just have to throw it in at the end." And he's like, "Oh, okay, that's really easy. I could do that." And he winds up talking to Sheila for way too long, and the portal starts to close. And right before the portal closes, Sheila even says, "Oh, don't forget the..." And then it closes, and he forgot the book in the sand, and he rides off saying, "Oh, man, I did everything great. I didn't even mess up at all. There's nothing I forgot this time."
Yeah, it's so classic Army of Darkness.
Yeah, it really
Ash is
is.
a complete idiot.
Yeah, like, for being the man's man, he just...
So
dumb.
let's... Oh, I'm choking on my own self.
I could tell.
Oh,
I could tell. So before he dies, we're gonna go over a couple different points of, I guess, our opinions.
Well, let's talk about the art.
The art goes to the, compared to the movie adaptation, goes to that cartoony style, which I'm actually a huge fan of.
I like
a
it
lot.
too in instances of comedy. If they had done this, and they've done this in Star Wars stuff, and I've not liked it. Well, I liked it in it reminds me a lot, if you've read Star Wars Tag and Bink, it's very similar art. It's a lighthearted thing, but it's got all sorts of gore and stuff in it, so the contrast is hilarious.
Yeah, lots of really bright colors in it too.
Not for kids.
Not for kids. Unless you were a kid like me and grew up watching Evil Dead at like 5.
I wasn't. I didn't
was.
see Evil Dead till I was like in high school, I think.
Oh man,
Maybe middle school.
I was raised on it.
I think I saw the tree scene when I was in middle school.
If you want to see something really messed up, watch Evil Dead 1 and watch the tree scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say about the tree scene.
We'll let you explore that on your own.
Which they did in the remake, and it was even weirder.
Yeah, it was really...
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the art was... I liked it. They, as of course, the actor from the movie, Bruce Campbell, he has a very strong chin, and they, like, overemphasize this in every panel.
Yeah, he's got... His chin is, like, out here. It's crazy. It's like it's a very caricature look.
Yeah. Which is, like, I don't know, it's fitting.
I don't think there's anything I disliked about this story.
I really just disliked the space scene and the morphine, because it just doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't... But
And hey, if you have a good reason for that to happen and, like, explain that to me, put it in the comments, please, because I would love to know.
Yeah, oh, jeez. I don't... It's just... I took it as goofy, but it was still... It wasn't too dumb.
Yeah.
Which some of this stuff turns out being too dumb.
Yeah.
And, it's...
Maybe I'm just too anal. You never know.
Well, you're dealing with Captain Anal here.
Jesus.
His overanalyzation.
I regret saying that around him.
Hey, I didn't go too far.
That's true. That's true.
I haven't gone too far.
So, what would you give it out of 5 stars?
4.2.
I would go as far as 4.5.
It
Writing was really clever.
was, yeah, but I mean, there are better, in my opinion. There is
Yes.
a better one.
Yes, Jeremy and I have very similar opinions on this whole omnibus, and I think the next story that we'll probably do a review.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I would call it a better one.
Yeah, but this is good. This is great for someone who's like, hey, I just watched this movie, Army of Darkness. What is there anything out there for me to read? Like, of course there is.
Yeah, definitely really, really entertaining. It wasn't too long. How long was it in issues, do you know?
I don't know, 6 maybe?
Yeah,
Not
so...
too bad. Most Army of Darkness stuff goes for 6 issues.
Yeah, nice, pretty quick read, I would say. I think that's a...
Yeah. What'd you give it out of 5?
I said
you 4.5,
4.5,
yeah. Sorry, my Alzheimer's kicked
Yeah,
in.
it really kicks in hard.
Yeah. So, where do you get this? Once again, the easiest way to get this is in the Army of Darkness Omnibus 1. Just been reprinted, easy to get. You can get it on Comixology for around $20.99, I think. Not $2,099. I know that someone will be out there like, oh, geez, that's so expensive. You must be Daddy Warbucks's. And I'm going to be like, you shut your mouth.
I don't get that reference. But we'll move on.
Annie.
Oh, never mind. I do get that reference.
Yeah,
too.
Matt Wilkins. I'm not Daddy Warbucks as much as you're like, you think I am. Not.
Okay,
I'm not Daddy.
I get you.
You feeling me?
Yeah. And you said that there is digital as well?
Yeah, I think there is. Comixology does a lot of the Dynamite digital, and there's a possibility of finding it on there. Also, the trade for this and the single issues aren't too expensive. The trade isn't in print, but it's kind of easy to find it on eBay. You don't have to do much searching for it.
Another way I recommend is being like me, be a bum and have a friend who's obsessed with comics and just borrow them. It works. That's how I read all of Walking Dead that I've ever read.
And you're behind.
No, it's terrible.
I'm behind. It's even worse. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, have a nice day.
See ya.
That's all.